Hello there and welcome back to the next video on my channel. Today I've got a very simple premise for you. I want to build all day, non-stop building, and I just want to build until the build is done. But not like done, if that makes any sense. I want to make something that doesn't make any sense. I just keep on adding to it, and then when the workday is done, and when I feel like, you know, everything's been added on, I end the video because the day's done and you get the gist. Anyways, I'm actually doing this on my YouTube world today, which is different from my testing world because one's got terrain in it and one's completely flat. And behind me you can see the updates I've done to the cathedral, and that's what I really wanted to show you right now. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is getting right into the video. This video was actually one of the funnest I've got to record in a very long time. Now we have an environment that we can start building on that I definitely found naturally and didn't painstakingly do all this myself, which is totally the case. I don't know what you mean. That's why there's a floating beehive over there. Basically what I did with this is I have grabbed some normal terrain and then I just did a bit of a coat over it, removed all the trees, removed all the grass, removed everything, smoothed out all the terrain. This is just so we have a big place to build. This only took me like 20 minutes because of Axiom, a beautiful mod. But yeah, I filled in any potholes and anything else that I want to keep that I might do something with later. I just kept it like these floating beehives. I actually do want to do something with them, but I'm not sure just yet. Maybe I'll just end up doing nothing with them and they just sit there, so I can just stand like that. That's the texture I have of bees, by the way. They're very lovely, aren't they? I've got to stop getting distracted. I've got to get into the build. So the first thing I need to do is figure out where the first build or first thing is going to go, because I am not quite sure yet. There's a lot of places to build, so we just need to find the best place of these, which is the place where it feels like the most is going on. And I think the best place would be up here on this flat hill. I think if we flatten this area out, we can place something up here like a little cottage or house and things, and that's got the best viewpoint. So let me do that in just one sec. Okay, and the first thing I needed to do with this was create a basic outline for how this build is going to look. So that's what I've done on the ground here. I've added a big red square, which is where everything's going to go, and I've created basically like a detail surface. I might start calling them those because I've never actually came up with a name for them. But before I build the whole thing, I came up with like a small window pattern or something like this, so that I have an idea of what the build will look like and what textures I'll use, what details I use, and it works really well. It helps me to think of ideas on a smaller scale, and maybe even come up with ideas, because this is similar to a build that I did in the past that I never showed in a video. But yeah, I really do like this build, and I might try some extra stuff out with it today. So let's see how this goes. First thing I need to do is I need to translate this onto the build and create like a big square surface, so I have a better idea of how this looks like and how I'm actually going to paste this onto a diagonal surface. So I started throwing this whole base together now, and I'm getting an idea of how it's going to end up looking. I've thrown in some extra textures into it because you can see the yellow was a little boring. It was a little bit messy too. So I did in some pinks and some oranges into here using jungle and terracotta, orange terracotta. And I added a little blue in the back here using some cyan concrete powder and some light blue terracotta. And I think those add a lot to the build. They help feel a little bit more lively, a little bit like spray painted over time and just degrade it. And I think these textures are working pretty nicely together, although there are some areas where I'd prefer it if it was more yellow. So I might bring it up like this and just see what I can do to make certain areas look like just like more like this original image I had of it. And then I can like change it up and make it just slightly better over time, and just, you know, go back on the texturing in areas where I think it could definitely use it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and make this build as good as it possibly can be. I don't want to leave it unfinished or leave it looking like it definitely still needs some work. So I'm going to keep on doing that. I'm going to keep on adding to it. I'm going to keep trying to make it as good as it can possibly be, adding more and more details, and then we can and hopefully we can finish the first base of this area. So yeah, this looks really nice. I'm kind of hoping that it would turn out like the Hello Neighbor house, where I keep on coming back to it today, and then in the end it's got all these like this massive structure. So I think I'm going to complete the roof next, and then I might do some extra details on the side. We need to destroy the cottage core. That's the first build done. I quite like this guy. He sits on this hill very chill. Maybe his name is Bill. He has a big gill. He sits very still. I don't know. I gotta stop rhyming. I don't know why I'm rhyming, but I like rhyming, so I'm going to continue with this because it's bliss, you know. This is what it looks like now. It's very nice, isn't it? I quite like it. It's got quite a few things I do like. There's some things that I might change or might add on to One thing is that this chimney just doesn't look quite right yet, so I might need to make some additions or change the position of that. Still rhyming, and I don't even mean to. And there are some bits where the texture seems kind of messy, like up here, so maybe bringing that up just a bit and bringing that across like that might fix that issue. But yeah, there's always little tweaks and definitions that we can make to make this area look more right when before it wouldn't have. And yeah, just that will just take time, and then I'll get to work on that, and I'll try to make it look not so messy and just have the right amount of details in it. So yeah, even just doing that, I removed a couple of the details now, and I'm already liking it more. I just gotta maybe move one of those over there to add a little more definition here, because it's missing it. I quite like this now. Actually, I was going to say I didn't like it, but now I do like it, so yay. Also, I'm working on here, down here, I had a friend send me a build they were working on, and I saw a cool pathway they were using for it, and I stole it. So sue me, I don't care. Anyways, this is what I'm going to be doing. I just want to build this like dirt thing around here, so it looks a little more like it adds a little layer, adds like a depth to it, so there's no greenery here. It's all broken down slabbery. So I'm gonna get into doing that, and then we can work on the next build. Okay, so I have worked on the environment, and what I've done now, I'm quite proud of this. There's big stone sections like this one, and I didn't come up with this design myself. I don't know if I said that. I saw my friend make it. Yeah, I think I said that in the last clip actually. But yeah, I've improved upon it. I think I've made some little alterations and added my own little touch to it. I tried to make every single area feel unique, and I kind of want to go through that with you now. So let me show you. Over here, we've got a big like stone slope, as in like rocks have formed over time, then dirt has gone on top of it, creating this cool like stone slope, as I just said. I'm going crazy. This one area is a bit flat. It's the regular details, and then we've got some grassy stuff to like mix it in a bit. Over here, we've got the basic flat again, but instead we've mixed in some brown concrete powder to add a little bit of color variation, add something different here. And the different thing here is this mossy like boulder that's sticking out of the wall. I don't think I'll ever use basic stone again in my life, frankly. Pale moss is the greatest block they've ever added into the game. I mean, I thought tuff was good, and tuff is good. Tuff is good. Tuff is a very nice block, but it's just got such a smoother texture, the pale moss. So you can use it for stone wherever you want. And then if you mix in some like polished stuff and things, you get this like really nice texture. And it's just such a good feeling just looking at it, you know? Such a beautiful, beautiful block they've added to the game. Thank you, Mojang, for finally listening to the fans, even though none of us asked for this. Like, not a single person. I wasn't asking for this. I like it, but I wasn't asking for this. But it's really cool, and I'm really happy you added it into the game. So I sometimes need to learn to just let Mojang do their thing instead of complaining all the time. I'm sorry for all the hateful comments I left on your videos. I'm kidding. I don't do that. I might. Add good stuff into the game. Hello there, welcome back. So I have done, and we have done, some interesting things here today. I know I've shown you this like area for quite a while now, and I'm very sorry about that. We have been talking about this terrain area for quite a bit, but all the texturing is done now, and I can finally move on to something else, which will be very lovely. I hope you like the texturing. Obviously, I've talked about it already, so I won't go into too much detail about any changes I've made, because I think you can figure it out. It's pretty clear mostly. There's not too much change from the area back here, but I'm glad that's all finished. The next thing I want to work on is a tree. Now I'm gonna have to actually look at some trees in real life to try and like get an idea. Not IRL, I'll search it up on Google. You know, that thing. Look at me, I'm using Google. How smart am I? I want to look at some trees on Google, and I want to find the best position to place one, which might generally just be like here, like having a tree swooping over. I've made some changes to the house too. I've added the chimney in, as you can see, the stone one, and I've added this like back wall section in here, so I've changed the color. I thought it helped with like the versatility of the base, which I think is quite nice. I also changed some window designs. I added some like lime, some weathered copper grates behind that, which isn't wax, so I need to change it out. I just realized. But yeah, I'm going to be working on the tree next, which is going to be right here. Well, I've done some work on the tree. I just had an amazing idea that second as I started recording what I can do with this tree. So I'm going to try that out after I finish recording. It was like to do with acacia. And I was thinking, oh, what was if some orange looked good in there? Because I saw my skin next to the tree, so maybe that would look nice. And try some stuff like that in there. I don't know. I can do some work on this later because that kind of orange kind of contrasts the green and creates like this cool like offset color. I'll give some try. Show some trying later. But I kind of like that design, so I might add a little more orange in, make it look like light shining down or something. But yeah, this is the tree. It took a little while to get the shape right, and there's still probably some more work that needs to be done in it, but I think it looks nice. It looks all right from below. Frankly, it's a little messy, but that's how trees are in real life. Usually trees are fairly messy. I don't they're nature, so they're just a bit random, a bit crazy, but there's probably a right term that I'm looking for, but I am not smart enough to know it. The areas that I think I'm going to try and fix is this area here. Probably use with a little bit more of a beefing up on this side because it looks a little too flat. I think that about did it, except for that block right there, which I am going to fix right now. Well, okay, so we are around 5 hours in, I think 5 or 6 hours in today, and yeah, this is how much we've done. The next thing I want to work on is a car or a van outside this house, because it's already got the telephone pole. I've already set the date of when this is set, so a nice little yellow car to match the house would be cool too. And then I can add some like grass and do all the environment too. Again, this is building until the end of the day. I just add on and when I finish another project, and this tree is pretty much finished now. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling on now. Next clip. In the next clip, I speak. I realized something recently, and it's quite an interesting fact. It's not really something I'd paid attention to before, and it's the fact that when people get good at things, and I think I've gotten pretty good at this over the past couple of years, you start to think that you are the best. And that's something I did. When I was building, when I was getting better at building, and when I was designing things, I started to believe I was the best. I had literally like a list of people I wanted to be better than, and so I started trying to get better than them. Every single time I got better than that person, then I would get better than the next and the next and the next. And I got to a point where I thought I was better than everyone because I ticked everyone off my list. And it was only till recently when I started to focus on the people I ticked off my list. It wasn't a natural list, by the way. It was just something in my head. I realized I really wasn't better than them. They had skills that I'd never uncovered. I thought they were just their main thing, I always, when I looked at BWO, I thought, oh, his main thing's his texturing. When I look at Grian, I think his main thing's the way he designs his roofs. Or when I look at Mumbo Jumbo, which was actually the first person I tried to copy, you say, look at his like main thing is the way he lays out his buildings, or redstone. I never learned the redstone thing. No, these guys all have like a million skills that they can perform. It's just the big ones and their best ones that I tried to copy and I tried to do better. And even when I copied them, they weren't as good as the original. So it was taking a step back from that and noticing that I wasn't as good as them for me to really improve as a builder once again. Because trying to be better than them definitely did help me improve as a builder. Also, Trixie Blocks, that was another person I forgot. And Good Times with Scar. They're all brilliant. They're all brilliant builders. It was only when I realised that I wasn't as good as them, and I really started to pay attention to the minute details in their builds, that I realised how much I was doing wrong. First thing was the shape of my builds. The shapes of my builds were either too square and too boxy, and they were just like kind of boring, or they weren't big enough. My builds were always like I was cramming too much detail into a small space. But this build here, it kind of goes against that boxy theme because of this spike in the middle. It's kind of complicated, but there's a lot I've thought about the shape here. Like there's a diagonal going from here to here. There's a line going through here to here, and the texture kind of mimics that there. There's lots of things where I thought about the shape now where I'm improving because I'd noticed things I hadn't before, and I was able to just like relax and take a notice of things like that. And it's been really good, and it definitely helped with designing this tree too, in like certain areas which I took from Scar, certain areas which I took from B-dubs, and just and I've thrown in my own touch in places too. I used some candles to make some little leaves in the air, and in the end, I think that's how you create your own style. You start to copy people at the beginning, and then you grow into your own thing, and you become your own person. But you also can fall into the trap of believing you've become better than your predecessors, which oftentimes you're just mimicking them until you become your own thing that isn't better than them, but it's unique and it's so different it could never be better. Also, I finished the car, guys. It's not yellow, but yeah. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? This next bit will blow you away. I am now 10 hours and 9 minutes in. I know it doesn't look like we've done a lot, but I'm going to be honest, that tree took most of the time. It took so many hours to do. In the clip, it's going to look like it was really, really quick. But I promise you it wasn't. It took a very long time, and also some other stuff like the car that took a while, but that was mainly me just trying to get it absolutely perfect because I like making vehicles. I added a little water tower in here, which was pretty nice too. And if you don't believe me about the Discord thing, I'm going to take a screenshot in a second so that when I edit, I can put it on screen and go like, "Hey, look, I didn't lie to you guys. I'm telling the truth. I have actually been building this for 10 hours." Which is quite an insane prospect. But there are quite a few areas that we had to design and make with this one, even though does feel small. One thing I'd like to talk about, which I think I forgot to, was the path here. I love that path so much. I think that shape looks so cool. I think if there's one thing that I really love doing in Minecraft, it's creating these cool like winding paths. They look so nice, and I talked about it in my dropper video, but the reason I like making paths like this is because of just, I think I make them in a unique way, and I'm trying not to be as boastful here, but it's just this like almost smooth lightning shape, where it's very straight and cubic, but it's also got little curves in it, and they create these like cool magical pathways. I'm gonna call them magical because that works. Yeah, so this is all coming together pretty nicely. I've hidden some Easter eggs. I might show you. I'm not going to show you any of them. You know, I'll let you guess if you see any of them. You know, you can do something with that. I've actually only hidden one Easter egg. I was planning on hiding more, but I forgot. That's on me. That's my bad. Very sorry. But yeah, that's what we've done today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in another video. And bye-bye.